Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been playing with this idea of doing a weekly rap type of video for a while, and so I'm just going to give it a shot. Basically, we're going to watch the music videos from 3 of my favorite songs that got released in this last week, and I'm just going to talk about a couple newsworthy, noteworthy types of things that happened in the scene over the last week. So starting off, we're going to listen to Immortal Disfigurement's brand new track called Dragged Through the Inferno. For those who don't know, this is CJ McCreery's new band. He was the vocalist of Signs of the Swarm, then he left to become the vocalist of Lorna Shore, and then he got kicked out of the band. So, kind of a controversial topic. He got kicked out of the band after his ex-girlfriend accused him of mental and sexual abuse, and, I also want to note that there were rumors that the band and him were on bad terms leading up to that. The allegations obviously were the final straw, and after months of silence, CJ released a 23-minute video where he refuted the allegations, basically posted a bunch of screenshots of text conversations that he had with both of his ex-girlfriends, I guess trying to show proof and evidence that he did not do the things that he was accused of doing. Obviously, it's difficult to weigh in. I'm sure that he picked texts that make him look good and show him in the best light possible. So, we're never going to get to the bottom of that. We're never going to get the entire story. And so for now, I'm just going to say that I would like to separate the art from the artist and not really focus on him as a person. I don't know him. He could be a good guy, could be a bad guy. I don't know anything about that. The one thing that I do know is that his vocals in the deathcore scene are absolutely astonishing. I mean, his time in Signs of the Swarm, so good. The Immortal album that he made with Lorna Shore, top tier, probably the best deathcore album that came out that year, sparked this whole new symphonic blackened deathcore movement. And he's doing, this song here from Immortal Disfigurement, I think is a pretty good follow-up. Obviously, it's a newer band. They're still trying to get their feet under them. Probably not going to be as polished and clean as Lorna Shore is. I'll have a couple more comments on that, but I think we should just jump into the song here since we have a couple things coming up. And has a bit of a long intro, so I'll mention a couple things here. This band also features the guitarist from Awaken Providence, and it features the bassist from Winds of Plague. Now, the title of the band, Immortal Disfigurement, is a combination of Lorna Shore's album titled Immortal and Signs of the Swarm's album titled The Disfigurement of Existence. Dragged Through the Inferno also invokes the same imagery as To the Hellfire, which is the song that catapulted Lorna Shore to even bigger success after CJ was kicked out of the band. I'll try to call it out later in the song, but this one contains lyrics from Lorna Shore's song titled Immortal, which is a clear call out to the guys in Lorna Shore. I'll point that out when we get there. It's in the back half of the song. It is a pretty sick music video, makes a pretty big statement as a comeback song. It's also a pretty long song, but the second half is so epic. I honestly can't wait until we get there. Like, this sounds just like Immortal. That part there, right there, so cool. And the first, you know, like couple of vocals that he did right there kind of sound like Predator vocals. Also kind of sounds like Jar Jar Binks to me. Yeah, there's a lot of bands who do that, but not really deathcore bands, not like big popular ones like this, more like underground, like grindy types of bands. So I thought that was really cool for him to bring that in. I like this guitar solo quite a bit. It doesn't feel forced, which is a big thing for me. So, originally, this is where I thought it was gonna end. But it's just phase 2. Right here. That was a call out to his vocals on the Immortal track from Lorna Shore. And I guess this would be phase 3. Insanely long vocals. I have no idea if he can actually do that in one take. If this band ever tours, I'll be curious to see how they pull that off. So the last thing that I wanted to note about this band is with the bassist from Winds of Plague. Winds of Plague has been doing symphonic, epic, orchestral types of deathcore for a really long time, and so that's one of the things that actually gives me a lot of confidence that they're going to be able to pull this off. I did think that they did it, really well in this song. Like I mentioned, Lorna Shore's been a band for a long time. They're used to working together, used to getting those song structures down. This is Immortal Disfigurement's first stab at doing it. I thought they did a pretty good job, and I'd be surprised if they don't get better from here. Okay. With that said, let's actually just jump into the next song here. I know I'm going to talk about a couple newsworthy things, but let's keep it heavy with this new collaboration between We Came as Romans and Brand of Sacrifice. This is the reimagined version of Darkbloom, which is a We Came as Roman song. But to be honest, it is so completely different here. This is not just like a an updated, now it features Brand of Sacrifice. This is like a completely redone song that honestly I think belongs to Brand of Sacrifice, and it just features the guys in We Came as Romans a bit. But let's check it out. It's pretty sick. Kyle Anderson, one of my favorite vocalists right now. Huge in Brand of Sacrifice, was amazing with his cleans and the after image. Nobody knows how good this guy is. Just so underrated. So they kind of keep the chorus from the original Darkbloom song as like the backbone, but you'll see how. It's just, this is Brand of Sacrifice. This is so good. Like the background, like chanting, ritual vocals, so cool. I also really like hearing We Came as Romans be a bit heavier. I know Dave Stevens had a side project where he was just trying to be as heavy as he could be, and it was really cool. I wouldn't be upset to see We Came as Romans go in a bit of a heavier direction now, with Dave doing all the vocals. I think he's doing all the vocals, right? They haven't replaced Kyle. Like, they pretty much took the best things from We Came as Romans version, kept those, and then just let Brand of Sacrifice redo everything else. And it's so heavy and so good. Man, I just love those types of collaborations where you hear a band like We Came as Romans, and you know they have been a bit softer in their recent history, but to hear them go the complete opposite direction and collaborate with a band like Brand of Sacrifice is just so cool. And like I said, Kyle Anderson, really the whole band of Brand of Sacrifice is so good. I think by far one of the most exciting deathcore bands right now. And you could just hear how they took it up a notch at the ending there and just brought a whole new level. And I honestly think that's what these established kind of like core, you know, old school metalcore bands like We Came as Romans need to reinvent themselves and stay as like a key player in metalcore. This is the kind of stuff that they need. So really cool. Both of those bands excited for what they're doing. All right. So a couple newsworthy things that happened. Um, I have thought that it's really interesting, all of this stuff about Motionless in White. Their new album's coming out. They've done some music videos. Pretty excited about it. But the one thing that I can never get away from is just how bad their merch is. And I know that it's not just me. I have a tweet from somebody else that Chris ended up replying to. But let's take a look. Let's take a closer look at some of these items here. So first off, Chris mentions, did we really make a shirt that says Big Black Energy? You're goddamn right we did. Which, I mean, I guess go ahead and embrace it if, you did make that decision. This is the shirt right here in the top left. Some of these other items, I'm just not sure about. Like, does anybody actually buy Motionless in White bikinis? Does anybody buy these leggings? The windbreaker, I think, is pretty cool. The logo on the back, not the biggest fan of, but like same thing with these booty shorts. It's just, I don't know. It's pretty interesting, and a fan actually had something to say about it. Oh, whoops, wrong. There we go. So a fan was saying, so I guess there's new tour merch at my date. I love this band so much, but their merch choices make me want to scream. And down here, interestingly, Chris Motionless replied saying, I wish someone would do a study on why the most criticized merch items always end up being the top sellers. It is so confusing. So I don't know. Maybe the things that I just questioned are going to sell out and be, the big cash cow of the drop. I don't know. Like my taste is a little bit more simple. I was never really into the crazy designs like this in the first place back in like the scene, like 2008 type of days. But it is pretty interesting. And I don't know. Motionless in White always seems to get flack about the merch that they're designing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that Dan Watson, the vocalist of Enterprise Earth, he was also the original vocalist of Infant Annihilator, has stepped down from the band. He put out a pretty lengthy statement here, basically saying after 8 years, he's no longer a part of Enterprise Earth, not going to be on any upcoming tours, which is a bummer. He is an amazing live vocalist. I've seen him perform live a few times now. Even interviewed him once or twice up on the channel. One of my favorite people to interview, actually. He's just really like collected and insightful, and that's what I got reading these statements too. It seems like he has kind of like evaluated his life and where he's at right now and what he wants to do next. This was kind of the follow-up statement. Just seems like a lot of life things going on for him right now. Broke up with his band and his fiance. Basically just saying he's recommitting to living for himself, making sure that, he's doing the things that are making him happy and not living life for other people. And he mentioned that he's releasing a new Heartzone Cloud song, which I looked up on Spotify. I think it'll be the third song that he's made with that project. He also has his other band called Meyer Lore, which is an insanely heavy deathcore project that he has done really cool stuff with. So yeah, not sure exactly what's going to be next for Dan Watson, but, one of the most talented vocalists in the scene, I would say, and one of the guys who I think, back on that first Infant Annihilator album, was one of the first that, like, really impressed people in terms of, like, oh my god, we didn't know people could be this heavy. And like listening back to that album today, it's not quite as mind-blowing, but back in the day, that was just an absolutely absurdly heavy album, and his vocals were just demonic on it. So I don't know. I hope that he can continue making heavy music, staying active in the scene, because it'd be a real shame to lose him. Same thing for Enterprise Earth. They just put out a new album earlier this year. It was pretty good. I mean, it had more singing on it than their past work had. It's interesting because I had interviewed Dan back in the day, and it was right when Whitechapel's first album with singing came out, and I talked to him about what he thought about Phil Bozeman singing and Whitechapel taking that direction, and he actually liked it a lot. He was just on board immediately, and so it wasn't that surprising to me to see Enterprise Earth branching out, trying some of these more melodic song structures, trying to incorporate some more clean singing and that type of stuff. So, I wonder what'll be next for them, and whichever vocalist replaces Dan is going to have some big shoes to fill. That is for sure. So let's go ahead and jump into our final song for the day, and then I'll have like one or two more news items to talk about after. But this is Veil of Maya's brand new song called Synthwave Vegan. It is off of their new album that's coming out later this year, and Veil of Maya is just absolutely crushing it in my books. The 2017 album that they put out was my favorite album of that year. The singles that they put out recently have been pretty spectacular. I think this is actually the strongest single that they put out so far. It's just so heavy. This is like, I think, one of the heaviest songs that they've made in quite a while. I don't know why it keeps loading like that, sorry. Lucas's vocals are also pretty spectacular. I think he's one of the most underrated metalcore vocalists right now. It's so groovy, but so chaotic at the same time. Like, really cool time signatures. Just really keeps you on your toes. You never know what's gonna come next. Pretty short, but so sweet. I think this is going to be one of my favorite albums of the year. I'd be pretty surprised if this doesn't end up somewhere in like the top 20. Easily could be a top 5, just because I know what these guys are capable of, and their last album came out 5 years ago, which is actually a pretty long time. I guess COVID maybe could have played a part there, but yeah, I could not be happier that they're finally back, and I'm looking forward to this album so much. Okay. Couple quick sort of newsworthy things, I guess, that I wanted to touch on. This new tour from Crown the Empire. I wanted to point out that Crown the Empire, obviously headlining. It's the 10-year anniversary tour for The Fallout, which one of my favorite albums, especially back in the day. I used to listen to it all the time. Really hope that I can catch one of these dates. But the thing that actually I thought was the most interesting is if you look at the order of the bands beneath them, it goes Until I Wake opening, which definitely check those guys out too. I featured them on the channel before. Really excited that they could get on a tour this big. And then after Until I Wake is The Word Alive. And then after them is Destroy, Rebuild, Until God Shows. And then is Crown the Empire. So the reason that I wanted to point this out, the crazy thing is that Destroy, Rebuild, Until God Shows put out one album in like 2011, I think. And then they broke up and just didn't exist until 2020. And then they've put out 2 singles since then. So this band has a total of 13 songs. Okay? In that same time frame, from like 2011 to 2020, The Word Alive put out 5 albums. They have been grinding so hard. I don't really care for their new albums in particular, just because they're not very heavy. But I just thought that was so insane. Like, what happened here that this band that has existed for a total of like maybe 3 or 4 years and has 13 songs is right before Crown the Empire, and The Word Alive is like the second opening band with 5 albums in the last 8 or 9 years. I just thought that that was absolutely insane. I don't know what's going on in the Word Alive camp. Maybe they're just desperate to get on a tour. Maybe somehow a decision was made and they determined that Destroy Rebuild is like somehow going to pull in more fans. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I just thought it was really interesting. Shifting to a much sadder topic, Dance Gavin Dance has announced that Tim Feerick, the bassist of the band, has died. They put out a lengthy statement, obviously talking about how much he meant to the band. I mean, he was just a big part of the band, and the fan base on Twitter has just been so upset about it, understandably. You know, they had Swan Fest the other day, and I'm honestly surprised that they were able to move forward facing such a big loss like that, and still just be able to carry on in the face of adversity like that. So, just big props to the band for being able to make it happen. I guess it's just so sad, and I can't even imagine how they're feeling. But to still move forward and play shows, and I'm sure they know how much it means to the fans to still be able to see them and connect, and hopefully that can be cathartic in some type of way for everybody. But yeah, just a really sad situation. I was debating if I wanted to talk about this part of it, but I'm gonna do it. And since Tim died, there's been some conversations on Twitter with Tim's family coming out and sort of talking about just like this bad situation that's going on. Basically, Tim was married to a woman, and he wanted to get a divorce, basically. And that woman hasn't like signed over the rights to his body to his family. And I don't know all the details, and I'm sure there's like a lot of legal stuff going on with it, but the thing that I wanted to point out is this account is Tim's current like very serious girlfriend when he was alive. He basically wanted to be separated from his wife and was now with this woman, and so interesting drama, I think, that is kind of important to know, because I'm sure that it's affecting the band too, because it's just sort of inhibiting their ability to have closure on the situation with all of this drama going on in the background. And I'm sure that, it's clear that nobody is happy about it. And I'm not sure why it's going down this way, why his wife is doing what she's doing. And Tim's family has made it clear um, that they've never met her and that they don't know her. And they think that it's weird for her to be sort of in this position of power over his body and maybe his assets. I'm not entirely sure, like, how his will and that stuff is going to get settled. But yeah, just, each day it seems like something new on this topic is coming out. And I just wanted to touch on it really quick because it's just like, it just sucks for the band and the family and everybody involved. And it's not clear why it's happening. So, just well wishes to Dance Gavin Dance, all those guys, all the crew members, and all their fans, because it's just not a good situation. So, yeah, leave it at that. The last thing that I wanted to talk about here, and I don't know if this is just the circle of Twitter that I'm in, but Slipknot has partnered with this sandbox game, I don't know, development company maybe, to help create this thing called Noteverse, which is kind of going to be their version of the metaverse, and I guess like allow them to play virtual shows and like stream them and have this like online hangout and community. I don't really know what metaverse is and why Slipknot thinks that their fans want this, but one component of this is NFTs. And the circle of Twitter that I'm in absolutely hates NFTs. And apparently there's just a lot of backlash to Slipknot of like, why would you do these NFTs? They're so stupid. We hate them. There's just like not a better way to say it. Maybe it's because I don't fully understand it, but there's been a lot of pushback on it. And I don't think Slipknot sort of like foresaw this happening to them. But yeah, I don't know. I guess good luck to them. The NFTs that I've seen haven't been super well received. The gaming companies that have looked to get involved in it have seemed to like kind of back out of it after the fan base said, we don't want you to do that at all. So I don't know. Keep your eye on this, I guess, if you care for potentially interesting developments. We'll see if this gets reversed. But I think that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Not sure what the reception for a video like this is going to be, but I think it's pretty cool to talk about my favorite songs of the week and just share some thoughts about some things that are going on in the scene. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll see you next time.